Well, hello and welcome back, everybody, to another HOWL photo live stream. We're happy to have you all back here today. We have 3 photographers that will be presenting with us here. We've got Cori, we've got Susan, and we have Steve as well. And today we're going to have Susan starting us off. I've got one of Susan's photos here that we're going to start off with. But before I do that, where's my little thing here? I just wanted to remind everybody that the HOWL Wildlife Photo Convention will be November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 2023. We're very excited this year to have our headliner, John E. Marriott. We had John E. Marriott signed up to present for our 2020 convention. Of course, that didn't happen because of the pandemic. So graciously, John was happy to postpone his participation. So we have him presenting this 2023. And just announced this past week, we announced our 2 newest speakers that we have added to our lineup of speakers. We have Sam Stevens, who will be presenting. And then we also have Jillian A. Brown as well. 2 wonderful, absolutely outstanding photographers. Sam Stevens has a scientific background and does a lot of work with the Wildlife Research Station here at Algonquin Provincial Park. And then Jillian A. Brown is a adventure explorer photographer who has a lot of who lives on the West Coast and has whose portfolio does feature a lot of the West Coast imagery and beyond. And so these are 2 young, exciting, really inspiring photographers that we are super excited to have at this year's HOWL Photo Convention. The other 2 remaining speakers we will be announcing very soon as well. But again, I just wanted to mention that these are the 2 newest speakers that we have booked for this year's convention. But today we are here gathered to talk about reflections. Reflections is our photo stream theme for today. Like I said, we have Susan, Cori, and Steve presenting. And up first, we are going to have Susan speak. Susan, are you over there on the line?
Yes, I am.
All right, let me get your video up in just a moment here. Let me get your video up. All right, there's Susan, and we're going to start off with, let's see here. Let me get this picture up, and let's bring this front and center. All right, here we go. And Susan, is this maybe the 3rd time that you're presenting with us?
Yes, it is.
It is. So. Yeah. Oh, we're always so happy to have you. And you live fairly locally. You're in the Huntsville area, is that right?
Yeah, just north of Huntsville in a little village called Novar.
Very cool. And you were telling me yesterday as we were preparing for our call that you were doing Northern Lights photography last night, right?
Yes, it was pretty exciting.
And it was a successful session, you were saying. You could see the lights pretty decently, eh?
Yes. Yes. After I had to walk through that almost knee-deep snow. the roadway is kind of blocked by a mass, stand of trees. So I had to move out into the marsh to get more of a clearing to the horizon, so we could see the lights. Yeah, it was pretty nice, and that little saw-whet just added the bonus to it all. So.
A saw-whet owl. That is what a bonus that is. Yeah, to have that as part of your photography adventure from last night. Incredible. Yeah. And so we put out the call for reflection photos, and you enthusiastically stepped up, rose to the occasion. So let's jump into it. So this is the first photo of the bunch that you sent me here. So let's let you get into it.
Okay, so my theme is strictly images, all from different areas of Algonquin Park. This is on the Tim River, which is access number 2 on the west side of the park. This is one of the most beautiful areas that I love the most to paddle.
Yeah.
So we that morning, there was just my daughter Wendy and I venturing out in our kayaks, and as we came around the first bend in the river, here's this amazing bull having his breakfast. And so we quickly sort of tucked behind some vegetation so we wouldn't spook it off.
Yeah.
And he let us enjoy watching him browsing away for at least a good, I would say, half hour.
Wow.
Yeah,
30 minutes with the moose. That is a very special thing.
Yes. Yeah, we were quite pleased, and it was a very exciting moment for my daughter Wendy, because she of course lives down in Welland, and she kept complaining, "Mom, I never see moose when I come up." So I said to her, well, we're gonna go try the Tim this time, and sure enough, we ended up seeing 5 moose on that morning. There was actually 2 bulls, just as we were. If you ever been to the Tim, there's a really steep hill you have to drive down to get to where the landing is. And just as we were getting to the bottom of this steep hill, to the left in the big extended portion of the river were 2 bulls. Wow. And they were running. So of course there was no chance whatsoever of getting a shot, but it was just the experience for her to finally see 2 live moose. Like, she was in heaven.
Wow.
And then this bull was our third, and the last 2 animals were after our paddle, and we had come back to the landing, and we both of course had to go use the outdoor facilities. So I had gone, and she was standing near the little bridge, and what comes out is a cow and a calf. Well, she almost fainted. But unfortunately, she got too excited, and she ran back to the car to grab her camera. And of course, unfortunately, that spooked the cow and her calf, and so she was gone.
Of course, that happened.
Yeah, but at least she got to see it, and so it was a pretty special trip for her that last year in June. So
the Tim River in June, just amazing. Yeah, and of course a really cool reflection moment here as well.
Yeah,
and I love that you can see the water just dripping out of the antlers there. Mm-hmm. That's so cool. Yeah, you could see it, and that is just munching at the buffet, right?
Right. Yeah, they do. Well, of course, they still need that strong source of sodium, and they say that the root system of the water lilies and so forth is very strong in that mineral. So well, this is why they spend so much time at that time of year eating the new growth. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and so we're at your second photo here, and I'm gonna try to guess. I don't know where this is, but is this a sunrise or a sunset?
Yeah, no, it's a sunrise.
It's a sunrise. Okay, yeah. So tell us more about this reflection photo here.
It's one of the most popular points in the park, or
is it Smoke
usually
Lake?
Our first stop in the park, as when we come in looking for a dramatic sunrise. And this is what they call Fisherman's Point on Smoke Lake.
Smoke Lake.
Yes,
of course.
I could fill a book with all the beautiful sunrises that we've been able to capture there. So we've had some beautiful moments. Beautiful
Wow.
moments. I'm trying to remember which month this image is, but naturally, of course, it's definitely either early spring or summer. So
Well, yeah, is that mist coming off of the water?
yeah, just a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just a bit. Not as much as I've seen in other situations, but yeah, it was just the way the clouds were positioned over the sun. I always tell my friends who come, shooting with me, to always watch for that window right at the horizon. You don't want the clouds below, you want the clouds above. And so when that sun starts to come up through that atmosphere, it refracts the color on the underside of the clouds, and this is where you get this dramatic light painting happening.
Yes.
So
It's so
yeah.
orange, I can almost taste it.
Yeah. That's cute.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So we go from that season to this season here. This is either, I'm gonna guess, early winter or early spring.
Early spring.
Okay.
Long Costello.
Yeah.
Yeah, we start to watch early spring. Of course, I find like March, April is the best time to start seeing the beavers moving around, and of course, if you're lucky, you see the otters. And I just love how there's still that little remnant of ice, bit of a nice shelf, and then of course the even the dead grass has a life of its own, and the reflection in the sky and everything. So yeah, it's a fun time. There's doesn't matter what season in Algonquin, you always there's always beauty out there if you look for it. So
100%. Yes. Yeah, and it's incredible when you look at these boughs of grass. I don't know what the correct term is for this vegetation, but it's incredible when you look at them now. They look so haggard and sad, but then they just sprout out in maybe 4 weeks. They're green and they're lush and they're just sprouting up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when you think of the winter, how much the amount of snow, the weight of the snow on them too, right? So
that too.
If you look at the Costello Creek now, it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay, and now this moose here, is this also a Tim River moose?
No, it's not. Actually, it comes from kilometer 22, what they call the Madawaska Pond, right there along Highway 60.
I'm familiar with that one.
I believe this was, I'm trying to think of the year. I think it was maybe 2015 or 2016. It was in October, and this massive bull was in this area for like 3, maybe 4 days straight. And oh my gosh, the people and you know how small that pull off is, at kilometer 21 is. It does not hold a lot of vehicles. It was just like a traffic jam. So many people. And yeah.
Now, was that the moose that stuck around for how long did it stick around for at the Madawaska?
I would say, I think what I know. Yeah. Whoop, I lost your voice.
Oh.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, well, we were told 3, but some other people said 4, but we were there, I believe, on its 2nd day or maybe 3rd day.
Okay.
We saw Wesley there because he had spent the night in his car, and he was there way before the crack of dawn, and he saw a cow come out to have a drink. So there was a cow with him, but she during the day pretty well stayed hidden back in the shadows, the dark shadows of the bush. But he was just hungry because from what I've been told, they do not eat when they're in the rut. And of course, all that energy that they expel when they have to fight and so forth, and you could see almost little scratches on the palms of his antlers and everything. Yeah. So he must have, he must have had a few battles, but but yeah, so because of course the rut continues in October as well, because the cows, if they don't get bred in September, they'll go into heat again in October. So he's just bulking up, ready for the second round if he has to. So.
Very cool. Yeah, and a wonderful reflection. I love it. The perspective that you have on the top of the head of the moose is quite neat as well. It's a pretty novel perspective to have. Okay, and this is a wintry scene right over here with some really neat reflections.
That's actually in Steve's almost backyard.
Just outside of Mad Musher?
Yeah, that's the Madawaska River that flows along the Mad Musher. A little ways down from the Mad Musher. Someone had told us about her experience of shooting the rocks with all the beautiful rounded, snow on the rocks and stuff. So my friend Bob Winter and we ventured off, and it was minus 29 that morning.
It looks like minus 29 when I look at this.
But it was well worth it. So just as the sun started to peek over that hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I lost your voice again.
Oh.
But anyway, this is the sunlight finally coming through the trees and hitting the river.
So this is a sunrise, right?
Yeah, that's a sunrise.
It's a sunrise. Very beautiful.
I know there's not much reflection, but there's reflection of the sun's color.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and when we throw out these photography themes, we do want people to throw their own spin on it as well. And,
yes.
And I think that you're absolutely doing that. Okay. Oh, look at this. A little beaver here.
So this is at kilometer 53.
Yeah.
And Cori, this may have been the time when we were there shooting beavers, and I believe we also saw otters that morning. And there was a gentleman from Ottawa that sort of gave us a tip on following this path so that we could get closer to them besides standing on the highway. And so it gave us a much better vantage point to capture the beavers. Yeah. I'm not sure what that water system is, that little creek, that because it connects to a lake that's on the north side, and there's a great big long beaver dam, and then it goes underneath the culvert, and then there's another beaver dam within that area. So
okay.
Yeah, so they were bringing up the old roots of the lily pad systems, and that's what they in the springtime. Yeah, you can't quite see the root in his hand.
Yeah.
But it's that's what they do. They bring up those roots, and that's what they feed on.
That's what they're munching on. Yeah. And wow, it's got quite the orange teeth.
They do. The tips of their teeth are quite orange.
Yeah.
Quite orange.
I thought maybe it had something in its mouth, but as I zoom in, it looks like
it's his teeth.
That's the teeth. That's the beaver teeth. Wow.
And it's amazing. I have a skull, a beaver skull. And it shows you how the length of the teeth, because they continuously grow, right? They never stop growing. So they have to keep chewing on things constantly to wear the teeth down. And it's amazing to see how far back in their jaw this teeth keeps coming forward, from the top jaw and the bottom jaw.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And that's why they keep on chewing. Wow. And a beautiful reflection. And I love how the ripples of the water look too. That animal just pops. And oh wow, okay, I click next on the next one. This loon is so clear. Wow. Tell me about
this is when you go into Pog Lake.
Yeah.
And there's this little river coming off of it, and actually it's a very quite popular canoeing tripping system that you can actually come out of Pog Lake, you come up to where the dam is, and you portage around the dam, and then that takes you into Whitefish, and then of course from Whitefish into Rock Lake, and so on and so on. So so there's the section of the river has this island of growth, like a kind of boggy type of a landmass. Very popular for the loons to be nesting there. And so this is this loon wasn't on its nest yet, but we did find its nest where it had been sort of starting to groom it. So it's sort of like pre-leg layings
Yeah, yeah.
type of it's you know, bleh, I'm lost for words here for a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, it was one. I know, you just see that beautiful red eye and the way the sun was hitting it and everything. Yeah, it was great. And it just came up so close to our kayaks. So there was myself and my friend Jo Marie,
Yeah.
and we were tucked up against the shoreline on the opposite from where the island was. And it kept coming so close to try and figure out, okay, who are you? What are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at the redness of the eye, and then you can see how the water droplets are on wicking on the head of the bird. So cool. Wow. And then you can see the pattern of the bird reflecting in the water as well.
And its beautiful necklace, that beautiful band of little white, reflect. I love that term, then his necklace or her necklace.
Yeah. Beautiful shot. Just really, really nice. Wow. I'm lost for words looking at that one.
Thank you.
Ooh, and let me guess, this next one here, was this taken in the autumn season maybe? I see a lot of...
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I like the spin on your fall colors here. You're looking at the fall colors through the reflection in the water. Am I correct?
Yes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yes. It's just one of the little bodies of the ponds that you find along the north side of the 60.
Yeah.
It's one of the ponds that, if you look on the map, it only has a number instead of a name. I think there's only the one pond. It's called Ringneck Pond. It actually has a name.
Okay.
But the rest of the smaller ponds do not. So we just happened to hit that perfect lighting time when the colors were at their best, and then they were just reflecting in the calm water of the pond.
Wow. And I even like all those lily pads that are scattered around on the lower half of the photo there.
Yeah, they sort of catch the light in a different way, don't they? Yeah.
They do, yes, and they provide a really neat contrast against the fall colors that are being reflected in the water. Very cool. Ooh, okay, so this kayak photo here, can I guess if this is the Tim River?
Definitely.
All right, it is the Tim River.
Yeah, so this is my friend Jo Marie's first experience on the Tim. And of course we lucked out with a beautiful misty morning, and what can you say? It's just my little piece of heaven, especially that time of the morning when the mist slowly rises, and wow. It's just offers such wonderful opportunities for catching that golden sunlight and so forth. And
so golden, yeah. And you can really get the sense of the elevation as well. It almost looks like a mountain behind the kayaker.
Yeah, there is quite a few hills around, especially all along the Tim, and then even along the Tim Lake as well. So the lake itself is also a beautiful, beautiful little lake. It's not too extreme, so you are sort of protected from the really strong winds. And I think there's 5 or 6 campsites. There's 3 on the island, and the rest are on the mainland. And this summer I'm going back camping with my daughter and son-in-law. She says, "Mom, let's do another camp out on the Tim." And I says, "Oh, you don't have to ask me twice."
You don't have to twist my arm at all. No, I'll be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have a great big, huge, 17-foot canoe that'll hold all the gear. So because a kayak is very limited, of course, but yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Is this also from the Tim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Again. Can you tell I love paddling and shooting on there?
Hey, I mean, we all fall in love with our favorite spots, right? And...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Now,
So
is this same day?
this is Richard, my friend Richard. Um, and he also just absolutely adores paddling the Tim. So this was another wonderful morning. We're very close to approaching the lake here. It's starting to open up. You can see just left of his head, you can see there's like a space, and that's where the opening to the lake is. So
Very
yeah.
cool.
So he stopped for a moment just to enjoy the view, and as he did, that's when I took the shot.
Beautiful. A serene moment. And a beautiful reflection as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and in this scene here, we've got a canoe.
Yes, we just happened to be paddling back towards the mouth of the river, and so here these canoe trippers are well on their way to whatever trip they're taking, and it was just the way the sun, was backlighting them, and of course the trees and the reflection in the water. I just had to grab that shot. So, and I'm so glad it turned out.
Yeah, this photo really captures that spirit of adventure when you're, because the Tim is basically at the start of right.
Yes, it is.
So these folks here,
several loops. Yeah.
These folks are just starting their trip, right?
Right.
And I think you can tell that just based on, you could just see all of the excitement in the way that they're holding their paddles and the way that they're paddling. Mm-hmm. That euphoria of starting off your trip. Mm-hmm. Wow. But you're right. Yes. And the way that the sunlight is coming in and backlighting them that way. Very cool.
Yeah. It sort of bathes them in rim light, as we call it. And it just defines them. And yeah.
Great use of words. Bathing in light. Mm-hmm. Ooh. And this one has a bit of purple and blue in it. Really cool reflections happening here.
So, of course, everyone knows the island that has no name.
The one on Lake of Two Rivers?
Yeah, Lake of Two Rivers.
The most...
We just referred to the island on Lake of Two Rivers.
Probably the most photographed island in the park, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was in October, late August. I'm sorry. It was late August. I just happened to catch, another, again, beautiful misty morning, and decided to shoot along, the edge of the lake as low as possible so I could catch the reeds in the foreground. Yeah. And just enough mist to add that little bit of mystery, but not to cover the island completely. Because I've seen times when you can't even see the island.
Yeah.
It's completely engulfed. Yeah. But yeah, so.
Yeah, love this composition. I love how you included the grass at the bottom, and mm-hmm. You can't quite see the hills because they're obscured by the mist.
Yes.
Just a really, really great moment. What a capture. And I think that might be the grand finale image.
Yes.
Of your set here tonight. All right, amazing. And so if viewers want to check out more of your work, where's the best place to go to see more of your photography?
Probably just on Facebook. Yeah, I don't have a website or anything. Right now, my photography is just for myself and for sharing with the world.
Of course. Yeah. And that's Susan Ohling on Facebook, right?
Yes, please. Yes.
Perfect. All right. So for all the viewers out there that want to see more of Susan's work, check out Susan Ohling on Facebook for more of Susan's photography. Amazing. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of those pictures with us here today. It's so exciting to have you again on our program here. And now we have a first-time presenter in the wings there. Cori, are you there? Are you able to hear me, Cori?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Amazing. Give me one moment here, and I will load up your slideshow that you've sent us here. Let me get this going here. All right. And I'm not sure if you wanted me to present these in a specific order. The way that you've named your files is how they're going to show up.
It's fine. No problem.
All right. Perfect. And let me load this up. Let me just full screen it over here. All right. Okay. And yeah, Cori, so if viewers wanted to check out more of your work, do you upload to social media, or do you have your own website?
No, I private Facebook page.
A
Mostly
private.
for most of my friends are not photographers, so they usually chime in and say something or appreciate some of the things I share, my adventures.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, then this is quite the exclusive sneak peek into Cori's portfolio here. And yeah, you are totally rocking the reflection right over here. So beautiful Canadian Shield shoreline. Tell us a little bit more about this image.
This is probably a once in a lifetime image because of the level of the water.
Yeah.
This is on Costello Lake, right near Highway 60. And if you'd see about just to the right of center, in my opinion, there's an image there that is compiled of what was above the line and what was below the line. Can anybody see that might be a rock climber? Whereby, okay, how can I describe this? What appears above the water line, his head and his left arm outstretched above his head.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then right below that, it looks like what was his head could be his right leg tucked up and his left leg beside that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I see him. Yeah, I see him.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah. So that again, I've looked for that thing so many times over the years and never. I took this about 8 years ago, and of course the water is just never the right level to get that exact breakdown.
Yeah. Wow. And that's the novel thing about the changing water levels, is that it's never going to be the same from year to year, and
Right.
and then when you're able to freeze these moments, then it's really a special thing.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Okay, in the Costello Creek area, right?
Costello Lake.
Costello Lake. Right,
Yeah.
right.
At the bottom of that rock cliff.
Yes, yeah. I've always dreamed of hiking to the top of that ridge on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been there? I've never.
No.
Yeah, neither have I. But
No.
But yeah, whenever you make that turn to go down Opeongo Road, it takes my breath away every time I pass by that cliff. Wow, very cool, very cool. Okay, and
I call them like matrix images. You can, in your imagination, pick things out. That's why I call them a matrix image, kind of.
Yes. And hey, and that's the wonderful thing about photography too, right? You can find
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, these moose images were one of the most epic events that have ever occurred in the park for myself, and I'm sure my partner that was with me, Jen. We had been down to the end of Arrowhon Road, and we were on our way back to the highway early on the 10th of December. It was the day after we'd got there. About 40 feet off in the bush, I see a bull. It's like, oh, stop the car, get out.
Yeah.
Thinking this is going to be just like every other encounter with a moose, right? You take your pictures and it moves off and away it goes.
Yeah.
Just beyond him, there was another bull about 30 feet behind him.
Yeah.
So we stood, again, we were on the west side of the road. They were off onto the west side of the bush. And then they started, they were eating twigs and moving along and eating twigs. And then the one walked up and gently poked the other one in the ribs and turned around, and they started a little bit of a non-event sort of sparring. And it was like, I gasped when I couldn't believe it was going to happen right here in front of us. And over the course of the next 45 minutes, they gradually started walking towards the road, sauntering towards the road. They had a couple more spars in the bush, and then before we knew it, they were out on the road.
Wow.
So we were, of course, now on the opposite side of the road. We backed up the width of the road. And then we were kind of stuck there, not safe to go back to the car in case we got caught up in the dance. And that sparring went off and on between eating twigs and, just standing. Like they were so not threatened by us. They knew full well we were there. We were standing in the open. Finally got a point where we could get behind a tree.
Mm-hmm.
just for safety. There was no aggression at all. I didn't fear they were going to run at us or anything. It would have been an accident had anything happened, actually. The power was palpable in that air. It was dead silent, not another car. We stood there for 45 minutes and watched this go on back and forth, back and forth. And then they'd stop and they'd have another little spar. And then they'd stop and eat some more. Finally made it back to the car and were able to sit and enjoy it until they got far enough away from the car that it was safe to start the car. I didn't want one of them to turn on us and ask us to dance with the car.
Yeah.
So I just waited till they were far enough off the road and started the car up. One of them bolted off into the bush and the other one didn't even move. He just stood there. It was unbelievable. Wow. So we went back the next day to assess the scene. And about 500 yards further north on the road on Arrowhon, they had come back out of the bush. And I'd say for probably 200 yards, they did the dance back and forth. You could see the footprints all over the road where they had continued to spar and walk and spar in and out of the bush. It was unbelievable to see.
Wow. What a once in a lifetime moment.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. And so, as you said, you've been doing a lot of reflection about this moment. And even when I look at this, it almost looks like the two moose are reflecting each other.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's a little play on words, the reflection. Definitely. I've reflected on this and friends that have, seen my pictures say, wow, that was wicked. And so so it's a reflection of different sorts.
Of course. Yes. Well, I love the interpretation. That's, yeah.
It was intense. That's for sure. Like I said, we just hopped out and expected it to be like every other moose shoot that we've done. And it just went totally.
Yeah. So unique. Few people will ever just experience that. Right?
Wow. So that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Now this is the one of them. He didn't fare very well. I looked at my photographs more closely. I was going to go back in the bush the next day and try and find that antler because one of them was missing an antler.
Yeah.
And then I can see that it broke off about 3 inches out from the skull.
Right.
And if you look at the other palm, he's got no tines on that palm. So he did not fare very well during the rut last year.
Wow.
So I didn't bother to look to look for it in the bush because I figured he could have lost it 20 miles from here.
Anywhere, right? Yeah. That's one of my dreams is stumbling upon a moose antler in the woods. It's never happened to me, but I'll keep dreaming. Wow. Let alone stumbling upon a sparring session. Very, very cool.
It was intense.
Yeah.
It looks like the antler got broken off, maybe in a fight, like maybe.
Yeah, it was 3 inches. It was about 3 inches from the skull. Yeah, it was broken off. But we couldn't tell that standing there until I looked at my photographs later. But
right. Wow, that's
and this one he's got a perfect wreck.
Yeah, just absolutely stunning. Wow.
Look at the size of his bell. It's huge. So that's a really mature moose.
They were both age. I tried to determine that from the size of what was left of the other one's palm, and they were very, very similar in size. I think they were probably age. But it makes me wonder if that one that broke off, if he's not going to have an asymmetrical rack next year, because it wouldn't have dropped normally.
Okay.
Right. Wow. I don't know enough about moose to know, but yeah, maybe it won't be asymmetrical. Maybe that'll make the moose a little less appealing to mates.
Yeah.
They say that when they drop their antlers, it's governed by the lack of hormones in their system, because the antlers are actually classed as an organ and not bone, of course. And so once the hormones are sort of cut off from their system, then it's for some reason it releases the antlers.
Yeah, but you would think the weight of them end of the rut, that the weight of them would not take them down, whereas this guy's not going to have the weight to take that little stump off. So it may impede the growth next year. Well, I'll have to go back next year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
See if there's a moose with half a rack.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find.
Yeah. And now these two moose standing here, is that from the same
Yeah,
session?
same incident. Yep.
Wow.
So like there was no aggression between them whatsoever. It was just, you know, excess hormones because it was the 1st of December. They were just still wanting to play.
Yep. Do the dance.
Very beautiful.
Wow.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
And then so these other photos that you sent me here, I asked if you wanted me to reorient them, and you said no, leave them as they are. So I'll let you do all the talking with these really interesting artistic representations here.
I don't know how I came upon this years ago, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, as I just took one of those images and rotated it, and then the things that popped me were like tribal mask images or animals right down the center of where the water line is that you wouldn't see when it's in a horizontal position. They just jump out at me. Again, it's kind of like a matrixing, I think.
Yeah.
You see, but I've had a lot of people mention, oh, there's I see a cat in that one, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting. It has to be absolute perfection conditions, or you don't get that idyllic reflection where which one's the water and which one's the land.
Yes, yeah. When I look at this one, what I see is a moth. To me, it looks like a moth that I'm looking at. The body of a moth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the cat.
Yeah. Just below center, yeah.
Yes.
But
oh yeah,
I
there's
just like
all kinds of masks.
you get mystical, like mythological creatures and tribal masks, and there's something different, I guess, to everybody's eye, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I love that idea. I totally love that idea of orienting the picture in a different way, with the subject being this reflection, because I think you're absolutely right. The images that come out of it when you're looking at it with artistic eyes is really limitless. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. But I love that you can't tell which side's the water and which side's the land, really.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You can?
Yes,
okay.
you can.
The reflection is always darker than the realities.
Okay, so the
as a
reflection
painter, you always paint it darker than the upper. So the right's the land and the
live,
left water.
Yep.
Right.
Got it. I'll see that.
Very cool. Very cool. But nevertheless, it's maybe to the untrained eye, they might not right away be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Which is which. Even when I'm looking at this one here too. I love the abstract nature of this stuff. It's just so cool. So this is let me guess. This is a marsh that I'm looking at here.
It's just the edge of a lake.
The edge of a lake.
It's probably on the north side of the highway.
Yeah.
Could be, some of them could be Costello. Some of them are right from the shoulder of the highway. Again, it's once I see that perfect condition of glass, I try on the shoreline to take pictures of stuff. That's all.
So cool.
It's when there's no wildlife.
Oh, and that's okay. No, there doesn't have to be. It's very psychedelic. I love it.
I see a lion. I see a lion
right
in the center.
Lion too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's very lion-like. Wow.
Almost looks like he's growling.
Yeah, it looks like a growling lion. And is this a panoramic image as well?
No. It's just a section that fits in from probably at the outside of my or the inside of my zoom, like 25.
Yeah. Very cool. I love it.
Nice.
Okay, and this one here, what do we see here? Okay, so the reflection side, I'm gonna say, is on the right side.
Yes.
Yeah?
I would say too.
You okay?
Yeah.
And now what do I see?
Much darker.
Well, what does everybody see in this one?
Oh, there's all kinds of things in this one. Oh my gosh.
It looks like a
This is so cool.
like a goat and a fish is what I see melded
Oh, yeah.
together.
See, I see at the very top, not at the very top, about just a little bit down from the top, I see a face of perhaps a wolf.
Yeah.
You can see the eyes, you can see the ears standing straight up on its head.
I see
I
the
can't
ears.
determine if that might be a wolf or a fox or something.
Or an owl even.
Or an owl, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Cool. I love the way that you interpreted the reflection theme.
Thank you.
All right, and here, this is a sunrise. That's my guess.
This
Yep.
is sunrise. Steve, you were there.
Yep.
Tell me,
It was there.
what's the location here?
It's Costello Lake.
Nice. Nice. Beautiful. Scenes like this is what I live for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sun coming through the trees there. Beautiful reflection of that peninsula.
A little bit of mist on your part of the lake.
Of course.
Mhm.
Of course.
There's a little landing there so you can launch off of the canoe or kayak. Little narrow landing.
Yeah, this is just by the bridge there. They're the picnic area.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, it's not. Where, Steve, where is it? It's closer to the highway, yeah.
No, you're right. It's right across from the picnic area.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's
There's
right.
a little opening in there that you can put your canoe or kayak in
Yeah.
into the water. Yeah.
Whoa.
'Cause I've launched there a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Ooh, okay, and then we have another abstract reflection photo here.
Woo! Oh, lots of faces.
This
on
one,
this.
it's a little bit more clear. I feel like there's a little bit more movement in the water in this one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think, yeah, you're right.
Right?
You're right.
So you can see that on the left.
Yep, for sure.
But nevertheless, isn't that funny how like the cat faces is like the number one thing that I'm seeing here? I almost see like
Yes.
a lynx face right in the middle.
Yes, yes.
And there's almost a little mouse in the bottom below the cat.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
The cat's got the mouse.
The cat has a mouse. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's so cool.
Wow.
Love that interpretation.
Yes.
Okay, and this one is quite different from all the other ones. Okay, reflection is on the
Alright.
left here.
Yeah, a little more tree deadfall than the others that are all rocks, mostly rocks.
Yeah.
This looks like a beautiful spiritual totem pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. Woo!
Neat. That's so cool. Oh, look at this one. What a reflection. This looks
Whoa.
totally
Oh,
like something
that
out of
one's
a
sweet.
Salvador
Oh my
Dali
gosh.
image. This looks like a pine cone.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Christmas tree.
I gotta say, this one is a little bit difficult. I'm gonna say the left side is the reflection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying that based on what Susan said. Where,
Because it's darker. Yeah.
yeah. And that's
Yes.
the only reason. Normally, I look for a little bit of motion blurring. But this one
Yeah.
is almost impossible for me to
It's
see.
perfect. Yeah, there's no.
It's
yeah.
perfectly still. The only
It's
thing.
just the coloration.
Just a
yeah.
slight darker shade. And that's honestly the only thing that's giving it away.
Mhm. And that's Costello Lake as well.
Wow. Cool.
That is so cool. That is really cool. Wow. I can just get lost staring at this. And those clouds too. Oh, it's so cool.
Yes.
That's so
This
cool.
one's
Isn't
trippy.
It is.
Trippy?
This one is way trippy.
Trippy.
This one is way trippy.
Yeah.
Love it. It's like looking at
Wow.
a cross section of a planet. That's
Right.
So cool. That is so cool. And I think this might be your last one of the set that you sent us.
Could be.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
I
think
think
it
I
is.
just sent you 12. Yeah.
Wow. I'm happy that we end off on this one.
Good.
That it's so dramatic. It's so dramatic.
They're neat to do in the fall too. In the fall, that things take on. Do you remember those cartoon characters, those Fraggle Rocks?
Yes.
Fraggle Rock, that program. In the fall, when all the different colors are popping out from either side, they actually sort of take on the image. It gives me the feeling of it being like a Fraggle scene because of all the colors, all the wild colors.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, this set has been extremely inspiring because I haven't taken this approach before of reorienting the reflection focus, but wow, does it ever just get the brain and all the creative juices in the brain just totally on overdrive when you're looking at these images. So thank you for
I love it when you can look out and see, oh my God, the conditions are absolutely perfect. Let's try and get to as many places as we can and get different sections of shoreline somewhere.
Yeah. So cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed them.
Oh yeah, no.
Thanks,
They're
Cori.
awesome. Yeah, thanks, Cori.
These are great.
Of course, yeah. And I think I asked you this way at the beginning of your presentation. You said that you've got a private Facebook page that you display your photos at.
Yeah, that's it. It's all for me.
All right. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
you'll have to make friends with Cori in order to see more of these brilliant images. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us at today's stream. That was quite the
My
treat.
pleasure.
And I hope
Thank you.
everybody's minds have been blown as much as mine have.
Mhm.
Amazing. All right. And we've got Steve on the line there, right?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
here.
Steve. Awesome. Okay, let's get to your presentation here and see what you've got lined up for us. Starting off with, a beaver photo. Let's get into it. Okay, so, a duo of beavers here. Pretty crisp water as well. Yeah, tell us more about this scene and how this came about.
So this interesting story behind this, a couple weeks before this photo, this is the little pond where I photographed the wolves on the beaver lodge.
Mhm.
That was in around the 8th or 9th of April.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later or so, I went back out and the ice was melting back from the shore.
Yeah.
But when I stopped, I had actually seen 3 beavers in this where there was still ice, but a little hole, and they were out. So that's what actually caught my attention.
Yeah.
And I took a couple shots of that, and then I looked in front of me, and here was these 2 beavers like right in front of me. And I was still in the vehicle. I didn't get out, and so I started photographing them. And it was on a real cold, miserable day. It was like sleeting, raining, but the rain stopped just when I stopped and saw these guys, and I was able to get a few shots. And then it started raining, and then it kind of ruined the reflection. And then the little beaver on the left actually jumped in the water and swam over to the right side of the adult beaver. And but this was probably the best shot of all of them.
Yeah. It's very crisp. Wow.
Yeah.
And what's neat is that you can see that there's a bit of movement in the water behind the beavers, but in the foreground, it's completely still, making for a stellar reflection.
Yeah, still one of my favorite beaver shots that I have some ones that I've taken since then. This was I think that was probably about 7 years ago or so.
Wow. And so those wolves that were trying to break into the lodge, I suppose maybe they were not successful.
No, and these are the beavers that were in the lodge at the time about 2 weeks ago before this shot.
Wow. That's an incredible amount of animal activity in one area.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
That's that pond just near the lookout trail, just west of it.
Right.
I can't remember what the name of that one is, but
That that beaver lodge is pretty well gone now, right? Steve?
yeah, it is the one. But there's a new one on the closer to the highway by the shore now.
Okay.
Yeah, but the one at the back where the wolves were is
Yes.
that one's pretty much gone.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, this was just like in the spring, and just caught my eye. The lighting at the time, it was getting near sunset, but up high enough to light up these old bulrushes, and I just liked it. Kind of neat, very still. Like the reflection.
Yeah.
Something different. It's not something I normally photograph. Is this kind of thing, but it just caught my attention.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. And the depth of field is incredible. Love how silky smooth it is.
Yeah, it was with my zoom lens that I photographed this.
Yeah. That's so neat. And yeah, is there I suppose when you're out taking pictures, you tend to go for the wildlife and that's but so I mean, because your comment was that you normally don't take pictures like these.
Yep.
And
yeah, so this is something different.
Yeah. So what do you think? It was just this scene that drew your eye to it, that inspired you to take the picture, to step out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, definitely. I like the way that the old vegetation from the year before was just all lit up, and it was just a perfect reflection.
Yeah.
So I zoomed in on it because it was a little ways away, and this is what I got.
Yeah.
And quite often I'll do landscape photos with my zoom lens. Not all the time. Sometimes I'll go out there with the intention, and I'll put on a wide angle lens. But it's neat to do landscape shots with a zoom lens too.
I find I get the nicest bokeh with my zoom lens.
yeah,
Sure.
exactly, like on that shot. Yeah. So that's Cori will not know where that one is. I didn't flip it, but I got a few shots in the same spot with the horizontal version.
Yeah.
This was obviously, I think this was late fall actually. I just like the little patches of color here and there.
That's right. So most of the trees have turned by this time?
Yeah, I think this is later. There's not many reds in that area anyway. But I do think that, if I remember correctly, that was like towards the end of the fall.
Yeah.
When getting the nice yellows and gold colors.
Golden encore, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Ooh. So this is this next one from the same area?
Yeah, so that's just this is actually a panel, probably about 4 or 5 photos stitched together. So it's like an expansion of the one shot that Cori had in her collection there, where she just had the little hill or the cliff at the right, and I did a panel of it. It's a neat spot, and you get some neat. It just looks really neat there with the reflections.
Yeah. Look how
Yeah.
still that water is. Wow. And are you using Lightroom to make your pano here?
Yeah, it stitches it together automatically, and it works really well for the most part, as long as you get your horizon line straight. It does a really good job at it.
Yeah, can't tell. Like looking at this picture that it's 4 or 5 images together, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Wow. Oh wow, what a dramatic. Oh, I always like to guess whether I'm gonna guess this is a sunset.
Yep, that was a sunset at the beach at Lake of Two Rivers, at the East Beach.
East Beach, yeah.
This is
Nice.
the beach. Wow.
Is that piece of driftwood still there? Because I think the last time I was there, I couldn't find it.
Oh yeah, I don't think it is actually. It got pushed kind of back on the
Okay.
beach, like near the where the tree line is, but
Yeah.
I didn't
When the
notice
water
it either.
probably flooded, because the lake flooded the one year really bad, right?
Yeah, I don't remember in the last couple of years. Yeah, I went down there and there was you couldn't even walk there because the water level was so
Yeah,
high.
there was no beach left. Yeah.
No.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that sandy area is not big. Like the distance from the water line to the shore, like it's not that. It's not a big.
It's not extremely
It's
wide.
not a very
No.
wide beach, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Beautiful.
it's not wide at all.
Love that color in the back and just the reflection.
Gorgeous.
The lake is very still as well.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. I just want to gobble up all that light. It just looks so.
Yeah, I really like the orange reflection on the actual dead tree on the limbs. I think that's really neat.
That
Yes.
is really cool.
And on the beach too. It actually lit the beach up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Neat. Ooh, okay. And the sky's doing some really cool reflecting here.
Yeah. So that's actually the same area, probably just a little bit down at a different time of the year. This I think was in the summer. That other shot was actually maybe it was in actually June, I think. Was a spring. This is later in the year. And then I saw these ducks swimming around, but it was at sunset, and so I kind of moved over there and hoping they wouldn't go too far so I could get them with the reflection. But unfortunately, reflection doesn't have to always be perfect, but it's not it's kind of scrambled a bit, the reflection, because of the waves, but it's neat. I just like the sunset with the ducks.
Yeah, and I think the ducks improve the image as well.
Yeah, adds some foreground interest, right?
It does, and I mean you've got them nailed right on the rule of thirds as well. So it just
with 3 ducks too.
3 ducks as well. It's like you've got them perfectly on all the points, right?
Yeah,
You've got them well trained.
Yeah, they're decoys. Really, they're not live. Yeah.
Yeah. You got out the hunting decoy ducks.
Yeah. No, they were live. I was just hoping they'd stay still long, because the shutter speed was a bit. This again was I'm pretty sure with my zoom lens, and my shutter speed was kind of slow. So at that point,
very nice psychedelic colors.
Yeah.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
From that sunset and
no sunrise or sunset is exactly the same. They're always slightly different.
Definitely.
Even if it's the exact same location.
Yeah.
Yes, always.
Ooh, is this one a wintry?
Oh, I know where that is.
Oh yeah, that's
off the highway, right?
Where that big bull moose.
kilometer 21.
Yeah.
The Madawaska Pond.
That's right. Yeah. So it was just going along looking for wildlife, and then I noticed that it was at sunset and just the sky was lit up, and I just happened to be right there, so I went down there, and it was really nice. Like the sunset was actually it's kind of more to the left, but just the reflection, it lit up the clouds even further to the east, so I was able to get this.
Wow. I think I only have one photo of Northern Lights in the park, and it's at this vantage point. So I am familiar with this vantage point.
Yep.
Steve's got a beautiful one of Northern Lights here.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Oh gosh,
that'll be I'll save that one for March 27th when we do the astrophotography.
There you go. There you go.
I have this same shot in fall, spring, summer, winter, Northern Lights, nighttime.
4 seasons, yeah.
I should do a collage of all the different shots from the same spot.
Nice. Nice.
Beautiful reflections. Oh, okay. And I've found the Easter egg in this photo.
Yeah. This was just the pond near Whitney. Actually, it's just at the horseback spot.
Yeah.
There's a pond in there.
Yeah.
And I always go in there and I almost never see wildlife, but this time there was a moose way off in the distance.
Hooray.
But what was even more amazing was I think the reflection in it. And it was late. It was late evening because most of the time I get out early morning or late evening, so it kind of lit up all the trees there in the foreground, which is kind of neat.
Right.
Wow. Beautiful, Steve.
Thanks.
Ooh. Okay. So our main subject is the one being reflected in this one.
Yeah, this was a cow, and this was in the spring, so their coats are really rough looking.
Yeah.
And they were just feeding, and they were drinking, and then started to walk along the shoreline, and it was just a really neat. And that something caught the attention of the calf. Maybe there was other people there, kind of down the road or something. But, yeah.
So one time a year when their hackles look like they're always standing.
Yeah.
And you can tell by their coats, that it's pretty early spring here.
Yep.
Yeah. Get rid of the old.
Very cool. Oh, okay. And this is in the same moment here?
Yeah. Okay. Just waiting for it to. There, yeah. So they were walking, and they were. This was actually, I think, just before that shot. And then the cow kept going, and the calf paused. But what I really thought is interesting on this is the legs, because it's kind of hard to figure out which one's which almost.
Yeah.
It's like a real weird design it makes. And this one I kind of like the flip because it kind of has an interest. I don't know. There's like a face or something at the legs create or something.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
When I get to the end, I'll go back to this one and I'll flip it.
Yeah. I just, when I took it and I looked at the legs, I thought, oh, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
What a majestic pose here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is that pond just east of, that's EO's pond, I think, isn't it's called? It's just east of the visitor center. And I saw the turtle sitting on this little log, and I was just driving by, and I pulled over, like thought that it would jump off because it doesn't usually take much to when you disturb them for them to leave, but it didn't. But I didn't get out of my vehicle. I just put the window down on the passenger and really awkwardly stretched right over to the window and got some shots of it, so that I didn't want to get out and have it go off the log because the lighting was really neat. Again,
it's gorgeous.
Evening light. And yeah, I really, and it doesn't have numbers on the back.
Or a band on its foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can tell that this is like the highest quality of lighting that you can get.
Yeah, and it was just, I think it was just kind of absorbing the last rays of the light, like, the warmth of the sun. Yeah.
Wow. Such a crystal clear reflection as well.
Yeah.
Just stunning, Steve.
Thanks.
Ooh, and a winter reflection is this one.
Cool.
Yep. Just that was it's on Opeongo Road, just on the left hand side there where all the otters have been and beavers, and this was at the very top. There's that, I think everybody sees that rock, but as I was driving up, the water was really calm, and it just really liked the interesting pattern that the old moss kind of made, and just kind of very abstract, different for what I normally do. So yeah,
but I think it's healthy to branch out, right?
Yeah, it's kind of neat to do some different stuff.
Keep yourself.
You always have to challenge your eye, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You do. I think it helps your eye in the end.
Yep.
Right. Oh wow.
You see more.
Yeah, I can't say that I don't have a picture like this in my own portfolio where you can see the reflection of the stars in the water. That is really, really high level.
Yep. This is Robinson Lake, and it's really neat. I mean, our next live stream is astrophotography, so I thought I'd throw one in.
Yeah.
Because it combines both topics of reflection and night sky, and it's just amazing to see like that with your eye you can actually see the Milky Way and when the water's perfectly calm, in a reflection in the water, and of course Northern Lights. But then, you know, it's just neat. It's just something different. It makes a night sky photo look so much more interesting, I think. And there's a water reflection.
What is the exposure on this one? How many seconds was it open for?
This was probably 25 seconds at 3200 ISO.
Yeah.
And it would be with my wide angle lens, probably f2 or 2.4 or 2.8, somewhere in that area.
Gotcha.
And then the orange is probably light pollution from Bancroft, I would think, because you're looking southward.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it kind of adds, in a sense, it's kind of part of the night sky, or adds to it, as much as I, you know, don't like light pollution, but where it is part of. But if you look, the one nice thing in Algonquin is there's no light pollution to the north.
That's right.
It's true. Yeah.
Right.
But there is to the south.
Yeah.
I want to go do night sky shooting at the Barron Canyon.
Oh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you speak to people that who are not photographers and have no exposure to night photography. When I speak to them and educate them about light pollution, they almost don't believe me when I first say, like, yeah, you can see Huntsville in the horizon, you can see Bancroft in the horizon, you can see North Bay in the horizon. Like, it's I can see it, right? But people don't really think of it right away. But for people like us that are into photos and we understand the difference in quality between a true dark sky and a not so true dark sky, like, it's evident, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And you can see a big distance in the horizon, because I think it was, can't remember whether it was Wes and Ken and Piroska and I, we were photographing at Poverty Lake, and we could see flashes in the horizon, and it was like lightning flashes, but the storm wasn't anywhere near us, because our sky was perfectly clear sky, but it was near in the GTA area. So that's what we were seeing, is that lightning storm down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just, little, we couldn't figure out at first what it was. And then we looked saw the radar that there was a big thunderstorm down south. So, I mean, it's unfortunate with that there's so much light pollution. And I was taking a photo once at night at Lake of Two Rivers, looking to the east, and there's light pollution there, pretty bad. But there was also a little yellow light in one spot in the forest, and I thought, what the heck is that? And then I was like, long time afterwards, I was walking through Killarney Lodge, and in the winter, and there's a phone booth with a light on in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Exactly.
And that's what it was. And that picked, I was a long ways away from Killarney Lodge, and it picked up that little light. It was amazing.
Right. And Pog Lake entrance now has a light, just the way Canoe Lake roadway has.
Yep.
Pog Lake has a light there as well. So.
Yeah, unfortunately.
God, I hope they don't do that to all the entrances.
Yeah, they don't think.
I really do wish that there was more dark sky awareness out there, because a lot of people think that you're actually making improvements by adding more lights to the park or wherever it is, right?
Yeah.
But whether it's for safety or whatever, but yeah, less like a true dark sky is becoming more and more of a rare thing. And it's not like we're going to go back to the way it was. I feel like it's harder to remove the lights once they get up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once they get stationed. So
anyway, next photo is right in Whitney, and in the background there, I'm pretty sure, Bongo, that's one of your cabins.
It's one of our cabins. It's so true. Yeah. When did you take this picture?
That was probably last year or the year before. I think it was during the pandemic thing, so 21, 22, somewhere in there.
Cool.
In the fall. It was just an early misty morning, and very nice reflection too
yeah.
of the on the colors and the fall colors with that big rock near the dam.
Yeah.
And it was when the dam was under construction, so I kind of had to, I cropped out the left side so I could take out those stupid orange buoy things that they had in there around their construction of the dam area.
Oh, I'm so relieved that that construction is done.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely necessary, but it took them forever to get it done.
I took 2
it's
years.
nice that
was we had to do a lot of customer service because they were so loud. So,
yeah, but anyway, it's
Yeah.
finally done, so
they're
it's
finally
good.
done. Yeah. Oh, wow. And I think that's the last one of your set here as well.
You're right.
Very cool. Okay, and I want to go back to which one did I want to go back? Oh yeah, we want to go back to
To
this
that
moose
moose
one.
one.
Here.
Flip it.
Can I flip it? Oh yeah, I can. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, the one there it is. We'll do the
Yeah.
Cori thing.
Looks like that's pretty abstract when you look at the feet
Yeah,
there.
look at just the legs, eh?
Yeah.
Just
To me,
like- Oh, looks like some kind of spider.
I was gonna say spider. Yeah, you're right. It does look like a spider. That is so-
I was thinking Ninja Turtle.
yeah, you're
Confucius.
right.
I-
Ninja Turtle.
I see
shell.
Confucius.
Yes.
Confucius, yeah.
Yeah.
All we need is a black rock, and it would have reflected as a pair of eyes there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Right, you're right.
For a spider.
So cool. So cool. Awesome. Oh,
All right.
So much fun. So much fun. And yes, as Steve alluded to, we will be doing astrophotography on Monday, March 27, exactly 4 weeks from today. And I'm going to leave this beautiful night sky photo here in the background as we wrap up our stream here. But yeah, so yes, we're putting out the call for folks out there that have decent astrophotography pictures in their portfolio. We would love for you to present with us on Monday, March 27, 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we're going to do our next photo stream. And yeah, as I was saying earlier, Sam Stevens and Jillian A. Brown are the newest speakers that we have signed up for HOWL 2023. Again, that's November 3rd, 4th, and 5th of this year. Very excited for that. And as I said, Sam Stevens, background in biology and science, is a researcher at the Wildlife Research Station here at Algonquin Park. And then Jillian A. Brown, who is a adventure photographer over on the West Coast. We're going to be flying Jillian into Ontario to participate in the convention. Both of these photographers, extremely engaging speakers as well, and they're very excited to be presenting with us. And of course, not to mention John E. Marriott as well, who's the other keynote speaker that we're going to have presenting with us. So, yeah. Steve, anything that you wanted to add here before we wrap up our stream?
Not too much really. I mean, just we're looking at another exciting HOWL convention with some great speakers, and I know it's only winter now, but time's going to fly by pretty quickly. So we do have several ticket sales. So if people are interested to get their tickets early, and especially booking accommodations, that's the main thing, is because it's limited, a limited amount of accommodations in the Whitney area. So get your ticket and get your accommodations booked as soon as possible.
Susan, did you get your accommodation?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yes, I did right away as soon as we finished the last one, right, Steve?
Yep.
Especially when they said that John was coming back for next year. I says, I'm in.
Amazing. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again to Susan. Thank you, Cori. And thank you, Steve, as well, for presenting all of your amazing reflection photography today. That was so much fun. I've gained so much inspiration from viewing these images and hearing the stories behind them. And I feel reinvigorated for the next time when I go out in the field to take some wildlife and landscape photos.
Awesome.
All right. Good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. And we'd be happy to have any of you back for the next time. But yes, that's going to be Monday, March 27 for the next one right here at the HOWL YouTube channel. So thank you, everybody, for participating. For those of you on the call, I'm just going to put on my stream ending screen here. So there's going to be about a minute of silence. And then if you want to say goodbye, you can wait. But otherwise, everybody out there, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, Monday, March